Yeah, hey, here we go.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Esposito, 6th grade science, Ralph Chandler Middle School, and
Mr. Goff, 6th grade math,
Ralph Chandler Middle School. Moms and dads, a lot of excitement going on here. What do we do in class? What do we do? We're going over the water cycle. Hey,
this is science, people.
Science, 6th grade. You know what? Moms and dads, we're going over the water cycle, and I'm telling the students in class, take advantage of this. A lot of it's review from what you might have done in elementary school, and we're going to transition. Before you know, you're going to be saying, wow, how do we get into station models?
I don't know.
How do we get into occluded fronts? How do we get into stationary fronts? How do we get into warm fronts? How do we get into occluded fronts? How do we get into cold fronts? How do we get into cyclones and anticyclones? How do we get into this?
How do we?
We started with the water cycle. It's easy now, but it's going to get hard. In about 3 days, it's going to get like, how did I land here? We'd be like an alien. It's going to get really hard. So I said, take advantage of the easy stuff now, because in a few days, you're going to be bombarded. So basically what we did was, in class, here's an example of something a student did for me, okay? And what she did is she drew the water cycle, and she included all the 6 steps that we went through in the water cycle, okay? She had to draw them, she had to label them. Very easy for me to grade, very easy for me to go through. Here's another one that one of my students did for me, and she actually did it on the computer. So I'm giving you an example so you can see some kids do it by hand, still 100. Some students do it on computer, which is still 100. They're both grand slams. Now, what we did today in class, moms and dads, is I gave them the opportunity to use those diagrams and to use words and write a little story. Imagine they're traveling through the life cycle of a raindrop or a water droplet. Okay? Some of them might start with condensation. Some of them might start with precipitation. Some of them might start as a snowball. Some of them might start as evaporation. It doesn't matter where you start in the water cycle as long as you go through the entire process of the water cycle, because the water cycle has no beginning, it has no end, it's continual.
That's why it's called a cycle.
All right, many of our students did it, they finished it in class, grand slam, home runs, but I said to the rest of the students, take it home, make a few little adjustments, bring it in tomorrow, take advantage of the time, and you can get an A. I want to see you get an A's on this, because it's going to get real hard next week. Okay, Mr. Esposito, take it away, Mr. Goff.
All right, in math, okay, everybody, we, in Math 6, we actually just started talking about estimating angles. Okay? You've got to look at your angle, and what the trick is when you're estimating an angle is compare it to things you already know. You already know what a right angle is, 90 degrees, right? You already know what a straight angle is, right? 180 degrees. So when you find an angle and they say estimate the angle, if it's just a little bit less than 90 degrees, well, awesome. You already know what 90 degrees looks like. Just go a little bit lower than that, whatever that angle is, 80, 70, 45, whatever it is. You're going to be able to estimate from things you already know. Okay? That's the big deal about estimating. Now, in Math 6, you do have a little homework if you didn't finish in class today. That is page 475 and 476, 1 through 12. Okay? Now, in Math 7, we're actually doing scatter plots and line plots. Okay? So, we are just talking about when you put together a scatter plot, or when you look at a line graph, or line graph, is it increasing or decreasing? That's the big thing right there. They're going to ask you, increasing, decreasing. How's it going? And you're going to tell them increasing or decreasing. And so that's the thing about line graphs. It's really easy. It's really simple. It's just a little bit of precursor about before we get into actually making our own graphs and things, okay? So that's what we did. Your homework in Math 7, if you didn't finish in class, page 429, 4 through 10. Now, one of the things that we're doing now with all the math classes, parents, is when you, for instance, this is a foldable from Chapter 9 right here that someone's making.
Very colorful.
It's very colorful, and they got all their notes in here. I'm going to check. Okay, the foldables right before the test, the day before the test, probably on the review day. Okay, this is awesome. She has all kinds of good notes in here.
And you know what? That was one of our questions today in advisory. Do you take pride in your schoolwork?
That's right. That was one of our questions.
That's an example of somebody who takes pride in their schoolwork.
That's right. And guess what? If you take pride in your schoolwork and you're doing really good notes, and you show me the notes before the test, guess what? That's a little extra credit for you.
And it reflects on your grades. It really does.
Extra credit for good notes. So we're trying to impress upon the
Panther's pride. Remember, the Panther's pride.
That's right. Anything else, Mr. Esposito?
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Mr. Goff and Mr. Esposito were on a little sabbatical, but we're back.
That's right. We had about a week.
Banana, banana, banana.
That's a little song for we're back, right?
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody. So, Mr. Goff, 6th grade math, Ralph Chandler Middle School, and
Mr. Esposito, 6th grade science, Ralph Chandler Middle School.